A catch is taken, and it's a legal delivery. He was looking to lift it high, and well, it did go very high there behind square on the leg side. Came down just in the end, quite neatly actually, and nicely for the fielder to claim that catch.
Yeah, desperately needed as well, and to get it in the first ball of the 7th over was absolutely perfect now, because we're just talking about Rajasthan Royals where they can be ultra aggressive from over 7 to 14, but having lost that wicket very early, it just gives Sunrisers some hope now to, can they get 2 or 3 overs, very tight overs, and just peg Rajasthan Royals back. But if you're a Rajasthan Royals batsman right now, or you are, well, I think they've got a timeout now.
Yeah, they've taken it, yeah.
If you were the coach and the captain now, you'd want your batters to be aggressive and carry on being aggressive, because they're still in a fantastic position. They're 58 for 1. It's a really, really good wicket. And what you don't want to make the mistake of is going into that, knocking it around phase for too long. So I think the new batsman can get himself in, give himself 4 or 5 balls to have a look, get a pace of the wicket, because it's not easy just to come in and just hit boundaries when you haven't got the bounce and pace of the wicket. So and then he can really open up, and Buttler can keep going the way he's been playing.
It's actually Jaswal caught Markram off the bowling of Shepherd for 20 of 16 deliveries, 2 fours and a 6. He's on his debut, isn't he? His IPL debut, so a good start for him. Shepherd, that is. 1.1 overs, 1 for 5, his figures currently read. Buttler's still there, not out, 33 from 25 deliveries, 3 fours, 3 sixes, but eventful to say the very least for Buttler, because he in the first over, just the 4th delivery of the innings, he was caught at slip, but off a no ball, and then he was dropped on 15, but that also was a no ball as well. And we've seen now a total of 4 no balls in this innings so far, so it's been a little bit bizarre from that point of view. But Buttler, who I just wonder, I mean, you've been in this situation, sort of. Look, you're going around the world, you're playing in all these different competitions. You strike us as being a pretty laid-back sort of guy, but do you get a little bit nervous on your first appearances, your debuts?
Every first game of the tournament.
Is that right?
Yeah. Doesn't matter how many times, how many years you played in the tournament. It's always that first game, and I don't know what it is. It's just that little bit of you're a little bit anxious. Just want to get going, get into the groove, and get up to the pace of the cricket, because you can practice as much as you want and train and get ready for the game, but you're never quite ready for the game until you go through and start, bowl your first over, or go out and face your first few balls, and just a lot of cricketers like to just get through the first match, just get going.
Are you a routine man? Do you have the routines you go through, or
nothing to write home about? No. Just
not
normal stuff.
Not a set thing at a set time ahead of the game.
No, not at all.
I didn't think you would be. I thought I'd just check. Okay, so that timeout has been completed. We're still in this 7th over. They don't have to come at the end of an over, it can come mid-over, as we had there. We're in this 7th over, and a single there. Samson it is who's come out to join Buttler, and he's immediately off the mark. In this match is the Sunrisers Hyderabad versus the Rajasthan Royals. Samson, as the captain, has come out to join Buttler. So obviously 2, as you might imagine, at this stage of the innings. Very important key figures batting-wise. And it's Buttler facing again. He'll have to be quick, or they will have to be quick, running through, and they are. Make their ground. Just pushed on the offside from Buttler. He'll move to 34. Not out from 26 deliveries. Royals move on to 60 for 1 midway through this 7th over. The timeout, the bowling timeout, can be called between overs 6 and 9. The batting timeout between 13 and 16. 2 timeouts, they last 2 minutes 30 to be precise.
And we love them.
We love them. Seen a wicket this over and a couple of singles, and it's Samson who's back on strike, and he won't be able to get that one away from Shepherd. We mentioned him, you mentioned him a little bit earlier, an exciting talent. Mario Shepherd from the West Indies.
Yeah, he's a good prospect. Very much suited to T20 cricket. He's big, he's strong, he bowls with a sort of a round arm action, which could help him bowl Yorkers. and he can hit the ball out the park. So you know he's built for T20.
England know all about him as well with the bat, don't they? With 2 balls remaining of this 7th over. But this is bowling, right to be onto the onside, and again can't get it past the fielder. It's time for the hands of Sampson, so therefore it'll be a dot ball. Thing to be had from that one. So Sampson's faces 3 deliveries for 1, but they're off to such a good start here. We are saying there's on this ground, on this pitch as it appears, you do need to make sure you've got some runs to defend a little later on. Just a little bit of hold up there. Pooran just checking from his position as the keeper as to everybody's in the right slot. Just got 1 ball left of this over. It's the 7th over, and Sampson on 1 pulls out of that one. He was for a moment thinking he was going to pull that one. Sanju Samson playing 100 games in the IPL, and he's just 106. Well, I say 166 now, 165 runs away from 5,000 as well in T20 cricket. For the skipper, Butler on 34, Sampson on 1, Shepherd now 1 for 7 from his 2 overs. The Royals at 60 for 1 after 7. So it's the 5th match of the IPL. The last 2 teams who finished last in the competition last year in action in front of a good crowd, really good atmosphere. The authorities hoping that at some point, certainly before the end of the competition, that number will be able to be exceeded. They'll be able to go up from their current allocation of 25% in the ground. Now, another change in bowling here. Abhishek is being brought into the attack, the spinner around the wicket, and it's Butler who faces him for the first time tonight, and that's a little push drive up towards wide, long off for a single. Throw back, not too sure if it's a wild one or not, but it's not costly in the end. So they move to 61 for 1, and it's Butler. His moments of fortune earlier. Let's move to 35, Abhishek Sharma bowling here. Decent amount of experience, but there's plenty more experience as well, but 23 matches. Brought into the attack in this 8th over. Sampson it is, who's back on strike. Still on 1 at the moment. It's in the air. Is it going to be safe? Yes, it is. Bounces just in front of the man out there. Deep extra cover, and, well, I've never seen such an elaborated movement of a fielder out there to try and retrieve the ball. I think he sort of put his hands to it with a bit of a spin, put his hands to it again, another spin. It was a double spin. It was out of the Winter Olympics on the ice rink, but stops the 4. Just have a look at this again, Ravi. Just see how far it was from perhaps even getting out there. In the end, quite close and decent movement, but not the cleanest of pick up and throws, but he got it right at the end.
Yeah, it was a good piece of fielding in the end. It was a good shot as well. It's just hitting it on the up through extra cover. You just can't play these shots anywhere else in the world, I just have to say. You know, the kind of shots you can play in India, very difficult to play in other parts of the world where the ball doesn't quite come on as well, ain't as true, and the boundaries ain't quite as small.
63 for 1. And that was a bit short, it's pulled away leg side, and that has got the better of the fielder there. Again, bounces just about a yard inside the boundary, outstretched hand for the fielder, can't grasp it, can't grab it, and therefore it's a 4, and it takes them to 67 for 1 in the 8th over.
Good from Sampson this, because he knows there's no turn in the pitch. The spinner's not even looking to turn it. He's bowled every ball pretty much seam up so far, so just slow left arm at the moment, slow left arm, nice and straight, and he's taking advantage of it because there is a small boundary behind him. I think it's only 54 metres.
Sampson on 7, worked away onto the gap because the fielders are quite well spread out there, especially on the leg side. They'll come back for 2, and they make their ground, the throw not the best. And as we are dealing with potential high-scoring game, you do have to get that right. You've got to be really smart in the field and try and put a bit of pressure on the running pair. But there's been some decent running at the moment from these two. Sunrisers Hyderabad versus Rajasthan Royals, the Orange Army, they call them, Hyderabad. created back in 2013. And this next one is pushed into the offside for no run from Samson. 9 seasons, winners in 2016, runners-up 2018, but it was a struggle for them last year, a real struggle, as it was for their opponents. On ball left to the 8th, and again a little shorter, leans back, hammered away straight. How far? Far enough for a 6. Really got hold of that in the end. It didn't look that particularly comfortable. He really, the force, the power he put behind that. I've already seen, remember this is the tournament 6 is 63, only in the 5th game, and they've moved to 75 for 1 after 8 overs. Butler on 35, Samson on 15 now from 9 deliveries. Tell me about that shot.
Well, this is what I'm talking about. There's some shots that you can play only in India, and that's the sort of shot you can, there's not many other places where you can play that, where the ball only bounces up to a perfect height. It's skidding off enough. He's bowled that short and it's still skidded on enough for him to just force it and flat bat it over the bowler's head. So yeah, like I say, to compare that to England, if a spinner had bowled that length in England, it would have just sat up and it wouldn't quite have that pace to flat bat the ball straight back over his head.
For mere mortals, you'd need plenty more room as well to play that sort of shot. It seemed to be so close to his body. Oh, a little fiddle. That is at the end of Butler. Umran brought back into the attack. Umpire Oxenford says, not as far as I'm concerned. I didn't hear anything. Kane Williamson straight away says he wants to review that. He's so confident. He's got Butler here with a little bit of a nick, a little bit of an edge off the bowling of Umran Malik. We're looking forward to his pace. Has he got the better of Butler here?
I heard something there. I think he could be gone here.
Let's have a look to the, or listen, should I say, to the TV umpire. It's on a review. Bruce Oxenford says it didn't hear anything. But more or less said that, didn't he, word for word?
I mean, it's never easy to hear nicks in India. Sometimes some of the the crowds are really loud. It can be difficult to hear.
So he goes just for a little. Well, there was the noise. Was it?
There's a loud noise, yeah.
Just as we were looking here, we haven't seen any of the detailed analysis of this. But now we are with the ultra edge, and what can that be if it's not the bat going on the outside edge?
Yeah,
can be nothing else.
Ball is next to the bat. There is a clear spike. It is away from the pad. Satisfied bat involved. Back to on-field umpire, please.
And it's I'm not going to, well, he did get it wrong, umpire Oxenford, but in some ways he was saying I don't know. And now he can say I do, and it's the end of Butler. Eventually they got Butler. Let's have a check on the no ball. It's okay, we're fine. And a wicket for the young man who's a real exciting talent, and he struck right at the start of his 2nd over.
Yep, and that's the other side of pace. It can bring wickets as well, especially if you hit the right length. That was the length that he should have been bowling in his 1st over, where he slams it into the wicket over the top of off stump. He got it wrong in his 1st over. He's come back with his 1st ball of his 2nd over and picked up the big wicket of Josh Butler. So well done to the young man.
Mixture of no balls, drop catches, all sorts, letting Joss off early on in his innings, but he's eventually gone for 35 of 28 deliveries, caught by the keeper Puran, a little bit of a nick, which needed confirmation, if you like, from the review as called by the captain Kane Williamson, and the Royals at 75 for 2 in the 9th over.
Yeah, I was just talking about hearing nicks. I mean, I remember batting in India once in a one-day game, tour to India. We were 50-over game we were playing, and I nicked one off Munaf Patel, and nobody appealed. They sort of looked around thinking, did we hear any? But they didn't appeal. Nobody appealed. I knew I nicked it, so I stayed there. If you don't appeal, if you don't ask, you don't get, do you?
Apparently so. I'm not going to give you any moral judgments on that. 75 for 2, 9th over. Padikal it is, who's gone out to join Samson. The fall of that wicket of Butler on 35, round the wicket. We know he's going to bowl fast. He bowls just on the off stump, and Padikal will get a run out there onto the offside. And he's off the mark. 76 for 2 in the 9th over. Well, he was so noisy, even you yourself, you didn't hear it.
No, I mean, because they didn't appeal, it sort of made me question myself a little bit at the time, but I just thought to myself, well, if you're not going to appeal, then I'm not going to go anywhere. No. If they had appealed, I would have just walked off.
Okay.
But they didn't.
No.
So
okay.
Maybe it was a plan to just keep me in.
One of those innings, was it? You're on 15 from Samson, not out. He's just pulled that round the corner down towards fine leg, and he'll get a single. So this is a decent start from the Royals, but I mean they've got to keep on pressing on from the evidence we've seen about the pitch, the size of the ground.
Yeah, I think they're going to need 200, you know, or at least up there around that 185, 190, because the pitch is really good. I think Sunrisers do have a strong batting lineup, and I think where Rajasthan could face some problems, they've got 8 overs of spin to bowl. And one of the sides is really small. You've got 54 metre boundary on one side, and the spinner's going to have to bowl.
Next delivery again on the off stump, driven into the offside. Straight in the hands of the fielder. There's a bounce there. Umran Malik, he's only 22 years of age. This is only his 4th game IPL match. The story goes he hadn't actually bowled with a cricket ball until the age of 17. Bowled a lot of cricket with tennis balls and things like
tape
that. Tape ball. But a cricket ball until the age of 17. But his pace is exhilarating, exciting, and possibly frightening if you're standing at the wrong end. And that's through to the keeper, Puran. Again, another good, pacey delivery. Dot ball. One ball left in this 9th over at 77 for 2. Liking what you're seeing?
That was nice. That was good. Looked like Test cricket, that, didn't it? Just ran in, slammed the wicket halfway down, the batsman getting underneath it, and it flew through to the keeper. It was lovely to watch. He's working up some really nice pace here. He's probably feeling a lot more confident now from picking up that wicket.
Expensive first over for him, but he's come back really well. This is 2nd over. It's the 9th of the innings. 1 ball left of it around the wicket. He comes in a little bit of width, trying to create something. It's beaten the fielder there on the cover point area, and right arm throw, therefore it's just the single to quickly onto it from the deep. So 78 for 2 after 9 overs. Padakal on 2, Samson 16 from 10 deliveries, and that over from Umran. He's gone for just 3 runs and taken a wicket with a couple of dot balls, so his figures now looking really good. Well, a lot better than they were. 1 for 24 after 2 overs.
Yeah, it's a good comeback. He's done really well to only go for 3 runs there in that over, and a much needed wicket again. I mean, Josh Butler was just getting going. He would have liked to have kicked on from there, getting 35 of 28 on a really good pitch. He would have been eyeing up a really big score, a big 70 or 80.
Plenty of cricket for you. We've got IPL, you're on 5 Sports Extra for you this afternoon. Then we've got Women's World Cup cricket this evening as well. Looking forward to that. It's 11:15. Women's World Cup semi-final, Australia versus the West Indies, to come Thursday morning at 1:45. Start for a 2 o'clock start for the game, as Shepherd meantime is in and bowls, and work by Padakal on the onside, and they'll get a single. Score moves up to 79 for 2. But Thursday, 2 o'clock start the game, but 1:45 on air for England versus South Africa. 2 semi-finals coming up in the Women's World Cup. It's been an exciting, thrilling competition in which England have managed to turn things around after a shocking start, and they're in the semi-finals. They play Thursday morning, but tonight at 11:15 you can join the team for the game between Australia and the West Indies. And of course, Australia just made such a terrific start throughout the competition. They're just unbelievably strong. It's going to be a tough game for the West Indies, but we'll see how they get on. Samson's on 16 down the leg side. Does he get anything on that? Well, it's been given as a wide. The bowler goes up. Nobody else joined in. DRS timer is on. I'm not too sure if we're going to see Kane Williamson calling for this one or not. Did he get anything on that? Did you hear anything this time?
Can they refer the wide call?
No, I don't think they can.
Well,
because you think that's a bit harsh.
Yeah, I think that's hit something.
Let's have a look at this one.
Ooh, that's hit something.
You're hearing something, but keeper Puran made no noise. The only noise we heard there was from the bowler, who is Romaro Shepherd, and this one is in the air and clears the fielder down there at fine leg. It's a 6. So Shepherd, having bowled that wide, one is a wide and a 6 now. And the Royals move to 86 for 2 in the 10th over, and Kane Williamson's got his hands on his hips.
Yeah, well, I think you got to feel for Shepherd there, because that didn't deserve to go for 6. He's got none of that, absolutely none of that. It's hit up near his handle, and it's still carried over fine leg for 6. I think that is the short boundary, actually. That's the 54 metre boundary. And but it's got the pitch has got such a lovely pace in it that you can play those shots and get maximums.
We are Waiting for what? I don't know. As I say, this is, although it's the 15th season, for no other reason than I'm usually watching cricket elsewhere in the world. I haven't really seen a great deal of IPL, but everything that I was told about the pace of the game has been very clear for me to see over the last couple of days. We're just waiting for what? I'm not too sure at this stage. This could be a very legitimate reason, but I can't for the life of me work it out at this stage as to what it is. 2 balls into the 10th. The score is 86 for 2. I know that much.
It's a long 20 overs, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But you know, so much exciting, creative and close cricket we see in terms of contest. This one is full and driven along the ground to long on for a single. We'll move to 87 for 2. Samson with that single is 23 not out of 12 deliveries. Actually, just if we lost the ball, that might have been actually, wouldn't it? Which I suppose is a fairly legitimate reason for a delay, as opposed to any timeouts or being held up for any other reason.
You can just see Kane Williamson's head going at 100 miles an hour at the moment.
Around the wicket again. Oh, it comes in. Shepherd pushed into the offside dot ball. Can't get past the fielder there.
He's just got to work out. I mean, one of the problems he's going to face is he's still got to bowl 2 overs of spin here at some point, and the 2 overs that he has bowled of spin has been really, really expensive. But he's still got to fit 2 more overs in somewhere, and it's a matter of when does he fit them in. He can't wait for the last 5 overs. He's got to get them in within the next 5.
Around the wicket again, ducks out of the way of that one. This is hard, aggressive attacking bowling here from the West Indian right now.
I think this is good from them as well. They've obviously done their homework on Padikar. Padikar struggles with that short ball around his shoulder, so they are sort of targeting that area. It's usually with him, it's a dot ball. He doesn't play that shot very well, so it's definitely one ball they can bowl every over at him. Even if they don't get it above his shoulder, they can just keep going around that ribcage area to him. And again,
same thing again. I can't get that one away. So it's one thing though to do the homework. It's one thing to know what you've got to do at 87 for 2 after 10 overs. It's another thing to execute it, and with 3 dot balls there, despite the 6, another really tidy good over really from Shepherd. 1 for 16 from 3 overs. And thanks to Ravi Bapara, he takes a little bit of a break. Simon Mann will come back in and join us. As I say, plenty of exciting cricket to bring your way here on 5 Sports Extra later on tonight, and of course all the best of the action from the IPL throughout the next couple of months of IPL action to be brought to you. This competition, which includes 2 new teams, we saw them in action of course yesterday, but 2 new teams in this 15th season. The top 4 from the group stage go through to the semi-finals, but forget the 2 groups in terms of you don't have to finish in the top 2 of those groups. That's just really for fixture scheduling. Samson on 23. How much of that has he got? Has he got enough to clear the boundary? And some again on the onside of straight. And what I'm loving about this and really appreciating is the fact that there's so much power and generated from what? Because there's no necessarily extra width. Let's take a look at that. Has he got a little bit of width in that? Well, I suppose there's more in the length, perhaps was there to be hit, but he doesn't need a great deal. He's got so much strength in those arms that's gone so far. Initially height as well as distance there, and Kane Williamson just closes his eyes as he's not going to watch that one go past him.
It was clubbed, wasn't it, Kevin? Yeah. Smashed down the ground, almost baseball style by Sanju Samson, who's such a dangerous operator. They need to get rid of him. He can do some damage here, the captain of the Rajasthan Royals. 29 of 13 deliveries. It's Washington Sundar who's in bowling this over, and that's dabbed halfway down towards third, and they'll still go through for 1, which is again something to appreciate, the fact that having just clubbed that previous delivery, just sees a little opportunity just to get the ball away for a single, and they move to 94 for 2 balls into the 11th over in this match between the Sunrisers and the Rajasthan Royals from the MCA Stadium in Pune. 3 grounds in Mumbai being used, and this one as well. It's the first match on this ground in the tournament this year. Around the wicket, Sundar with his spin and worked way down towards short, fine leg, and they'll go through for 1. Some good running we've seen as well
picking up the runs where they can, as well as some more explosive shots as well.